And you know, how many of you have gotten a virus on your computer? Right, yeah, right. Did you argue with your repairman that that's not a real virus? No. Even the fundamentalists don't argue with the repairman about that not being a virus. I have an Apple, I don't get viruses, but I get a small commission from Stephen Jobs when I get a sale, so let me know if you bought one. So isn't that interesting that people can see the metaphor of the virus works nicely with computers? Well, isn't this a computer? This is a computer. It's capable of being infected with non-biological viruses, if you will, the same as a computer virus. A virus is just a set of instructions on how to replicate itself through the use of another organism's DNA. That's all a virus is. It's one of the most simple organisms there is. In fact, there's big debates in the biological world about is a virus alive or not. Well, it doesn't matter. It's propagating, it's got RNA and DNA, and it's using you to get to the next victim. Well, that's what a computer virus does. It's got a set of instructions to get onto your hard drive and get from your hard drive to somebody else's hard drive. And that set of instructions is designed to get from your mind to your children's mind or to other people's minds. Baptists, Jehovah's Witnesses, you name it, they're all a set of instructions. And they're different. They have different approaches to infection. A human parasite, it enters through the ears at an early age, it germinates in the mind and causes the host to denigrate or destroy rival communities while reproducing abnormally rapidly, thus permitting the parasite to breed, exit via the mouth, and infect others. It is commonly known as religion. There you go. Fits pretty well, doesn't it? Well, we're going to find out it fits a lot better. So the thesis that I'm going to talk about this evening is religion is an infection of the mind. It has consequences for cognitive functioning and perception. As Jason mentioned earlier, and I have spent a whole chapter in my book on personality and intelligence, and there's just vast amounts of evidence that religiosity seems to suppress intelligence. The correlations between religiosity and intelligence are about 5 points, or a half a standard deviation if you know statistics. I know Jason does, because he's taking statistics right now. But 5 points, half a standard deviation, is a huge amount. If you could give your kids an extra 5 points of intelligence, that would be the difference between going to college and completing college. It would be the difference between going to graduate school and completing graduate school. 5 points can make the difference between those two levels. I mean, the average IQ of a high school graduate is about 100. But you have to have 110 to probably finish college. So that's a big advantage, 5 points. And religion seems to be negative. It seems to suppress that. Well, if you think about it, do you really think the earth is 6,000 years old? And God made you sick, so let's pray for you. You're probably going to have a reduced capacity for curiosity. And people who are not curious don't exercise this computer we've got up here called a brain. And when you don't exercise it or you don't train it properly, then it doesn't grow to its full capacity, just like somebody who never exercises never gets the full capacity of their muscles. As non-theists, we'd probably say, well, I have a lot of emotional strength. I have good friends. I know how to support another person while caring for myself. Look at the difference in those two statements. One accepts responsibility for doing something. The other one says God's responsible for it. When you constantly give responsibilities to your invisible friend, it reduces your capacity to learn from your mistakes and develop better strategies for living in the real world. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, I think that's it's a pretty safe statement. And, you know, most of the Baptists in the world would agree if we said praying to Allah doesn't make anything better. They would probably agree to that. But when you talk about their God, it suddenly changes. The whole equation changes. On strategy this evening. Don't get hung up on the virus metaphor. I realize I don't think religion is a virus in the sense of that rhinovirus that gave you the cold. I do think religion is a virus in the same sense that the virus that infected your computer is a virus. And as I said earlier, we could have called it a God germ or a God fungus, a God parasite. All of those infect people's brains, infect animals' brains, and cause behavioral changes too. So there's different types of infection. We're going to look first at horizontal infection. Most religions engage in horizontal infection. Now let's understand what horizontal infection is. The rhinovirus is what causes the common cold. You don't get the rhinovirus by virtue of your parents. You don't get it through the birth canal. You get it because somebody sneezes on you. That's horizontal. Lots of diseases are communicated from one person to the next person, like the rhinoviruses. Sexually transmitted diseases are the same way. They're made through contact between people in a horizontal fashion. New religions, generally a horizontal fashion, although there's alternative positions as well. I didn't even intend that one. Okay. Take a drink of water on that one. You're going to tip me over the point. I will never get back quick. Religions use a horizontal infection strategy. What are the newest religions that you're aware of? Scientology, Mormonism, Baha'i,
Jehovah's Witnesses are kind of
Jehovah's Witnesses, right. Now you'll notice the newest religions tend to go out and knock on doors. The newest religions use a horizontal infection strategy. They're the ones, because they don't have kids yet. They haven't been around long enough. Now, the Mormons had a nice strategy, have as many kids as you can with as many wives and kids to do the vertical. So let's move on to the vertical infection strategy. You get genetic diseases. You can get HIV and you can get hepatitis C through the birth canal, through your mother. You can get it from your mother. Almost all religions use both kinds of infection strategies. I said almost, because there's some religions that stick to only one kind. The Druze religion, and you've probably heard the Azeri religion. There's a number of little religions that use strictly a vertical infection strategy. The Druze religion is in the Israel, Lebanon, Syria area. They closed their religion in the 1200s. They're kind of a split off of Islam, and the Muslims hate them. They think they're terrible apostates. But these Druze, there's only several 100,000 of them, closed their religion in the 1200s. You could not become a Druze if you wanted to. If a Druze leaves the community and marries outside of it, they're excommunicated forever. They can never come back. So the only way you can become a Druze is through your parents. It's sexually transmitted through your parents. Other religions, Amish, similar fashion. The Jews, similar fashion. Very vertically oriented. It's very difficult to become a Jew. It's very difficult to become an Amish. They make it hard for you. You probably could, but it would be a rare thing. 1 in every 10,000 Amish is a convert. It just doesn't happen.